Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Guns and Guitars, and today we are going to be on the gun side of the channel, which I haven't been in a really long time, so I'm very excited for today's project. Not just because it's a gun video, but also because I have a real big problem that I need a solution for. And that problem is, now that I live kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and my property borders about 1,000 acres of state land, there's lots of wildlife, and that's fantastic. It's one of the reasons why I live where I do. But now that it's getting colder outside, a lot of those varmints are starting to find their way onto my property. And more importantly, the problem is they tend to find their way on at nighttime when I'm ill-equipped to deal with them. I'm Dan, this is Guns and Guitars. Let's get started. All right, let's go ahead and start with why did I choose the 1022 for this platform? Now buckle up, I'm gonna go through this real quick because I don't want this video to be boring. But the short version of it is the type of varmints that I'm gonna be dealing with are mostly the smaller variants. So rabbits, squirrels, rats, raccoons, that kind of stuff, which unfortunately also attract larger varmints like bobcats, coyotes, mountain lions, stuff like that. I just need something that can handle anywhere between a squirrel and a coyote. And so the 22 caliber is pretty much perfect for that because you can get the tiny little Calibri rounds, which are like 500 or 700 feet per second. And they're perfect for taking out rats and squirrels and stuff like that. And then you can go all the way up to CCI Stingers, which are a hyper velocity 22 caliber, and they are great for taking out coyotes at medium range, and which I've personally had success with this gun. And 1022s in general just have a reputation for being extremely reliable. I once was talking to my gunsmith about putting together a spare parts kit, again, because this is kind of going to be a survival gun for me. I wanted to have some spare parts just in case. And he was like, man, I've never seen a 1022 come through here that didn't just need a good cleaning to function again. He's like, save that money and just buy yourself another 1022. And I was like, okay, you twisted my arm. So this here is a Ruger 1022, except for one difference is it has a factory threaded barrel. Now, that's another reason why I opted not to use this specific gun is to buy a threaded barrel for this thing is about the same price as just buying a whole other 1022. So I got this on Gun Prime for I think $220 maybe. And so yeah, very inexpensive, about the price that would have cost me to put a threaded barrel on this one anyway. And so this is going to be the rifle that we are going to upgrade. Now, let's go ahead and get into the upgrades. So the first upgrade that we're going to do to this rifle is going to be for function and ergonomics, and that's just this plastic stock that came with it has just got to go. We need to be able to free float the barrel, and because I might potentially be sitting outside in the cold for hours on end waiting to take care of these varmints, it needs to be comfortable to hold, comfortable to shoot, and I also need some attachment points for some accessories. So this factory stock has none of those features. So that's gonna be the first thing that we're gonna do. And you might notice that I have here a WOOX chassis. This is a beautiful chassis system made out of walnut, so absolutely beautiful. It goes right along with the sort of hunter aesthetic that I'm going for. And you can also see that we've got some M-LOK attachments down there. We've got adjustable cheek welds, a thumb hole grip, and this thing is just going to be perfect for this build, which is why I chose it. You also notice that it doesn't have anything reflective on it. It's got a nice satin sheen on the wood and nice matte black aluminum. Now, I chose this chassis specifically because it is sort of a middle of the road chassis, okay? WOOX makes them anywhere from like $400 up to $1,000, and this one comes in at $599 or $699? $699. And so, like I said, it's just middle of the road. The reason why I went with this one specifically is because it has all the features that I need and none of the features that I don't, okay? I needed the M-LOK attachments because I'm gonna be attaching a flashlight and a bipod, again, because I might be out in the dark for hours. And then I needed a good, comfortable cheek weld that is adjustable. But what I didn't want was a bunch of like thumb screws and like precision adjustments, okay? This isn't going to be a benchtop precision rifle. I might wound a coyote and have to chase it out into the backwoods to put it out of its misery. And if that's the case, I don't want to be running and be losing little tiny pieces that I'm gonna have to go look for later. I want it to be very robust and rugged. And if you're wondering why some parts of the assembly video are blurred out, it's because YouTube's new policies don't allow you to show attaching anything to a firearm. It's the weirdest rule, and I don't quite understand it because I have lots of videos where I do show it that are still working fine, but a lot of my firearm YouTube friends are running into problems, and I just want to make sure I stay under the radar here. I tossed on a couple other accessories I'm going to tell you about real quick. One, I put a real flash hider on it instead of the lame one that came with it. Now, of course, the reason why I wanted a threaded barrel version of this firearm is so that I could attach a suppressor down the road. Don't actually have one now, but one of the reasons why I chose this style of flash hider, not only is it going to do a much better job of hiding the flash, but it is going to train me to fire with a suppressor because it's got the extra length and the extra weight on there, so I get used to the balance in the meantime. Now, the other accessories I attached on here real quick, you might recognize this guy. This is the Odin Mini. And you guys know that this is probably my favorite rifle flashlight of all time. I actually had some design input on this, worked with Olight, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. And so I put these on nearly every rifle and shotgun that I own. And if you're interested in knowing more about the features of the Odin Mini and the quick detach pressure switch, as well as like magnetic charging and other cool features that it has, I have a video dedicated to it, so you guys can watch that. And then again, if you follow my channel, you've already seen this carbon fiber bipod a couple of times, like on my budget precision rifle video. It's just a really inexpensive, lightweight, very sturdy bipod. Can't recommend it enough. Honestly, this rifle will probably not use a bipod very often. I'll probably take it off and just use a sling, just like my other survival rifle, just because it's going to be a real quick grab it, run out, and take care of a varmint real quick. But I did want to make sure that it had a spot on here because there are going to be times where I'm going to need to go and camp out and wait for the varmints to come out from under my shed or whatever. And if I'm going to be camped out for a while, I might as well just set up a bench and shoot from the bench. Now, as wicked as this thing looks, we are missing something very important. And that is sights. And in fact, actually, when I ordered this 1022 Tactical is what they call it, with a threaded barrel, I didn't realize that it actually didn't come with iron sights, which I'm really bummed about because the scope rings that I got for my scope, I actually got specific ones that you were able to see through and still use the iron sights, but those aren't there. This scope is awesome. This is the Rapidfire Plus from OneLeaf. Now, my other 1022 has a 3-9 by 32 scope on it, which is great. It's great for any of that medium to sort of long range, out to 150, 200 yards, but it does give me a little bit of tunnel vision. So this is a 3-12, so goes a little bit further, by 56. So nearly twice the sight picture that I would get by the 3-9 by 32. So super cool, and this scope comes with all the bells and whistles. Okay, it comes with flip up lens covers. It comes with the scope mounts, which I told you I didn't use because I wanted to get the ones that I could still use with my iron sights, which are non-existent. But still, I would prefer these Monstrum scope rings because they mount directly to the 1022 receiver instead of to a Picatinny rail that connects to the receiver. But if you have a Picatinny rail, it does come with scope rings. It also has an illuminated reticle with 11 different settings, and I'll explain why there's so many different settings on there in just a minute. And it also has an adjustable side focus. So in addition to being able to zoom in and out with that 3-12 times magnification, you also have an adjustable focus anywhere between close up and way far out there, which is going to be extremely helpful with my varmint problem. Now, this scope will run you about $359, which I think is an awesome value. I mean, the glass on it is absolutely crystal clear, and you can just see way out there for days. Honestly, this scope is probably going to shoot better than I do. But at this point in the video, you might be asking the question, Dan, if this is a nighttime purpose-built varmint shooter, why did you go with a flashlight and standard scope instead of night vision? I mean, aren't you the budget-friendly night vision guy? And the truth is, yes. And if you didn't see it, you should see my best budget night vision video. But the number one reason why I went with the Rapidfire Plus is because you can get a package deal with the OneLeaf NV100 and bam, night vision rifle scope. The OneLeaf NV100 is a standalone digital night vision monocular. It just happens to come with a quick release that works side by side with the Rapidfire Plus. Now, I mentioned that if you buy just the scope by itself, it's $359. If you buy just the digital night vision monocular, it is $359. But if you buy them together as a package deal, it is just $519. So you actually save a couple $100 by buying them together. Now, some things that are awesome about the NV100 is that it has a focusable infrared with 5 different brightness settings. So not only can you adjust the brightness of the infrared, but you can also adjust how focused. So if you're looking way out there, you can shoot a much tighter beam and it'll light up a nice tight pattern way out there. Or up close, it'll do more of a wash and you'll be able to see kind of all of your foreground really close. And remember how I mentioned that the Rapidfire Plus has 11 illuminated reticle settings? Well, that's because the first 3 settings are solely for being used with night vision. So they're extremely dimly lit. And so you can use it with the night vision rifle scope and still have an illuminated reticle, which is pretty freaking awesome. The NV100, because it is a digital night vision scope, you can insert an SD card and record what you're shooting. And so not only can you do that during the night, but you can actually, if you want to film your target shooting during the day, there is a daytime mode in full color. Also, when you attach the NV100 to the Rapidfire Plus, it doesn't change the eye relief whatsoever. It's absolutely dialed in now with or without the night vision. Yes. This is going to be so cool. All right. Now, I should have warned you in the beginning that this is not a budget build. This is a very purpose-driven build. So this is overall a lot more expensive than I would typically do on a build. But if you like my best budget modification videos, part 2 of this video, I should have mentioned also, this is just part 1 of maybe a 2 or 3 part series. Part 2 is going to be the best budget upgrades, where we're going to upgrade some of the internal stuff to make it shoot a little bit softer, a little bit better, a little bit more accurate. And by budget, I mean we're going to spend probably less than $50 total on that stuff. But I can't do those modifications until I test fire this thing to make sure that the rifle actually functions, okay? I have not actually fired this brand new out of the box, dropped it into the chassis. These are all external modifications that won't void my warranty. And so for now, just got these external mods, and next video we'll deal with the internal stuff. And then hopefully I'll be able to get out and get some sweet footage of me actually taking out some varmints at nighttime with this sucker. So make sure you stay tuned if you want to see those videos. I'm Dan, this is Guns and Guitars, and I'll see you in that next video.